What is the most worthless movie you have ever watched? Cats was the only film I ever considered walking out of. It was like mental self-harm. I knew what I was in for. I tried so hard to behave myself in the cinema, but watching respected veteran award-winning actor Ian McKellen frantically lick and slurp milk from a bowl was too much and I lost it. We knew it was going to be terrible and made a drinking game out of it. The over-the-top terrible reviews were the only thing that actually made me want to see it. If it had been merely bad, I wouldn't have been so intrigued. Instead, it became legendarily bad to others, point where people were clamoring for the butthole cut, which just adds to the mystique. I'm reading the comment section and I'm happy to report I've never heard of 95% of these movies. The Artemis Fowl movie was awful. I loved the books as a kid and had such high hopes. The plot was changed so much it's barely the same story. I knew it was going to be terrible when it opened with Artemis Fowl surfing. SURFING. The destruction of the characters was the worst. Mulch is not an ally. He's a criminal put on work release. He's out for himself. Holly is a woman police officer in a society where they look down on women in power. It demolishes her struggle and character development to have her commander be a woman. Artemis isn't some freaking surfer kid. He's a calculating sociopath. Not completely. He cares about his family and his image and nothing else. And he purposefully kidnaps Holly for the express purpose of extortion of the fairy people. Artemis' father was never a friend of the fairies. Hell, I don't think he even knew of them. Just, the whole thing. My wife has forbidden me from talking about it because I just go on rants. It's worse than the Aragorn attempt. My mom was guilted into buying a Christian-friendly movie from the church when I was a kid. It was called the Buttercream Gang. It was about a gang of do-gooders. They referred to themselves as buttercreamers. I was probably 12 when I finally watched it and couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a joke. Yes, I saw this as a kid. I grew up Mormon, at a friend's house. They were the type who could only watch Disney movies or Christian films like the Buttercream Gang. Not thought about that film in years. Thanks for reminding me. I remember it being cheesy, but I was 12 and wanted to be polite at my friend's house. My mom was also convinced to buy this movie through some church program. It cost $5 or so. And 2 weeks later, my sister and I found about 50 copies of it at our local dollar store. My mom was so mad she spent so much on it that she made us watch it multiple times within a few weeks and then told us to never mention it again. Open house. I felt disrespected for watching that piece of shoot. Was that the one where the mom and son moved to a ritzy home in the woods that was for sale? Huh. I came to this thread hoping someone would mention this movie. My bestie and I love horror movies and we love open houses. So figured it was a winning movie choice. However, what the actual frick was this crap? God, it was terrible. No one reacted anywhere near normal for what was happening around them. Even for a horror movie, nothing made sense. Plot points went nowhere. So infuriating I couldn't even feel scared. Just terrible. Without a doubt. Incubus. William Shatner. In the only movie ever filmed in Esperanto. As good as you'd expect based on those two facts alone. Wait, does Shatner speak Esperanto in it? Whoa, a film where everyone needs the subtitles. Did you know there was a sequel to Lawnmower Man? Well, now you know. For the record, I didn't pay for it per se. My friend bought the first Lawnmower Man on DVD, and the sequel was included as a bonus because absolutely no sane person would buy it otherwise. Lawnmower Man 2. Beyond Cyberspace. Okay. I know this movie is shoot. Absolute shoot. But in the summer of 1996, I was a plucky young half-Thai Canadian kid, stuck in rural Thailand for 2 months. When we went into town for groceries, I found this tiny little video shop that had all the latest movies on VCD, but they were 99% dubbed in Thai. They had a very small selection of English audio but Thai subtitled movies, one of them being Lawnmower Man 2, Beyond Cyberspace. It had Matt Frewer in it. I recognized him from the Fox TV Mardi Gras movie from earlier in the year, an X-Men movie before there was talk of any X-Men movies, Generation X. God, I was 12. I had no perception of what a good movie was. All I knew was it was a movie I could watch and understand while being stuck a bazillion miles away from home. I never even saw the first one, but a couple friends and I saw the sequel in a Walgreens a few years back and decided to give it a go because wow did that box look rough. I have few regrets, but that's one of them. Dragon Ball Evolution. Yet that movie is terrible. Without that movie Dragon Ball Super would not exist. The movie I most regret. The Emoji Movie. The most boring and pointless movie I've watched. The Last Light. Still don't get how Sony Animation went from the Emoji Movie to Spider-Verse. I actually enjoyed the Emoji Movie. It was nice being able to zone out for an hour and a half with something mind-numbing playing in the background. The Last Airbender. There is no movie in Ba Sing Se. As soon as I heard his name pronounced Tung, I knew it was going to be a shoot chow for the ages. Cannot believe Aragorn has not been named yet. There's a reason nobody's mentioned it, and that's because some things need to be forgotten, and Aragorn the movie is definitely one of them. You up, this freaking movie is still the worst I've ever seen. It is downright insulting to see as a fan of the source material. IDK how many of you tried it? But there was also an Aragorn game based on the movie, and it was, and surprisingly, also complete garbage. Edit. Interesting to find out there were a couple handheld titles that were okay. I only played the console game. The 41-year-old virgin who knocked up Sarah Marshall and felt superb about it. Why would you make a parody of comedies? Wait, that was its own movie? I saw the case for it when I worked at a used movie store and I just assumed it was a 3-film combo pack. Edit. 4 films. Forgot Knocked Up. Not Another Teen Movie and Scary Movie were great, but then they kept going. Titanic 2.